What's good, y'all? It's your boy Terrence Carter, and I'm here, back at it again with another video for y'all. So I'm about to start doing some of these TikTok like reaction videos or whatever the case may be, showing y'all like what people been thinking about the economy and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna front to y'all, bro. It has been getting real out here, for real. So listen, man. We gotta stay strong. We gotta teach ourselves how to make more money, save more money, and invest. Alright, real talk. That's it, bro. Shout out to all the new supporters, all the returning supporters on the channel. If this is your first time to my channel and you want to help me grow the channel, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, leave your comments below. And I'm going to continue making these videos for the YouTube channel, alright? Let's go.
If you only want to work 4 hours, it's going to be harder for you to get a house.
Oh, Jesus Christ. First and foremost, Whoopi Goldberg, shut the fuck up. Stop speaking. You have been rich for the last 40 years. You don't get to hop on TV and speak on anybody's lifestyle at all. Shut up. I am so sick of boomers and older people and everybody in that category calling Gen Z and millennials lazy, like we're just some generation of people that don't want to work. We just want everything handed to us. We're just super entitled. Cut the bullshit. Stop the cap. That $500, $600, $700 apartment that you had when you were in your 20s, that apartment that you could afford and still save money to buy a house one day, that house that was $30, $40, $50,000 when you were little, triple that shit, quadruple that shit. That's what we're paying nowadays, with wages that don't match the increase in pricing. Let's talk about that. The wages, they don't match the increase in pricing at all. So I don't want to hear y'all say we're lazy and we're entitled. Motherfucker, we are working. Most of the people I know are working 40 plus hours a week, 50 plus hours. Some are working 60 plus hours a week. And then when they get their paycheck for their hard work, they pay their bills and then they hope for the best until their next paycheck. So don't look at us like we're fucking lazy and crazy because we're pissed off about the state of the economy, the housing market, groceries, everything like that. A friend of mine just told me she went to Chili's, fucking Chili's last night. 2 drinks, 2 meals, and dessert, $100+ for a fucking dinner at a restaurant. I used to go to Applebee's when I was little. It was like $30, $40 for my whole family. Now 2 people got to go spend over $100. Like, you see how that don't make no fucking sense? But let us speak about it. Let us complain about it. Let us voice it. And now we're lazy and entitled. Another point. I hate when older people are like, oh, we had to struggle for what we had. We went through war and turmoil for what we had. Y'all do too. What the fuck kind of mindset is that? What the fuck kind of mindset is that? That's like having kids and being like, oh, I struggled and went hungry when I was young, so you will too. You see how that doesn't make any fucking sense? This is not millennials and Gen Z and young people complaining or being entitled or just wanting things handed to us. This is us saying, hey, we are working our asses off every day of the fucking week. And when we get a return on our efforts, it's minimal. It's bullshit. It's crumbs. And we have the fucking right to voice it. And it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting. I sound like a broken record because I've spoken on this so many times and nothing changes. We are hardworking, law-abiding citizens, and owning a home is like a pipe dream for us nowadays. Why do we go look at 2-bedrooms apartments and the lowest price we see is $2,000, $2,100? Sometimes, most of the time, drastically more than that. I don't want to hear it from y'all anymore. I don't want to hear that we're lazy and entitled bullshit anymore. The guy whose video I'm stitching, he did a beautiful job of portraying and showing how it's fucking increased. That 10, 15% of your income that went towards your housing alone, and then you had that 80, 85% of your income still in your pocket for other shit. $40 to 60% of our income goes to housing alone. Do you think that the increase in people promoting mental health and going to therapy and shit like that is just for shits and giggles? People are fucking depressed. People are fucking struggling. Let me ask you all this. How many of y'all didn't buy the Christmas gifts you wanted to this year? If any. How many of y'all have a light Christmas tree this year, but last year or a few years back, you never did? It's not a fucking coincidence. A lot of people are struggling, and even worse, a lot of people are faking it. Speak out. Speak up. It's going to stay the same unless y'all open your fucking mouth and speak out against it. As long as we say, oh, that's life, it's going to keep on being life. I can go on for fucking 25 minutes about this shit, but In summary, Whoopi Goldberg, shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Along with every other boomer that thinks we're just out here with our hands out waiting for a fucking mansion. We're not. We just want to put food on the table and have a home over our head and then still have money in our pockets. I don't know. Maybe go to the fucking movies. I don't know. Maybe spend our money on shit we want to spend it on for once. Is that so surprising to y'all? Y'all are fucking pissing me off with.
Sorry, if you only want to work 4 hours.
That's why I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad as it is right now. Because it used to be when the cost of living was high, it was for the things that you need in life. Food, gas, shelter, etc. All those things cost a lot of money. Right now, all of those things still cost a lot of money. And also, I feel like it's just expensive to just be alive. Like, I feel like my life as soon as I wake up is literally just me putting down a credit card and it's just a tab. And life is a bartender. And it's just like, what are you going to have? And I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't really need anything today. And it's just like, oh, really? Well, if you're going to be here, you're going to need to spend money. And I'm just like, what do you mean here? I'm just in the world. And it's just like, yeah, you have to buy something now. It's even getting to the point where, like, I feel like even my thoughts are getting expensive, you know? Like I could just have the thought of like, my nose is a little stuffy. And then all of a sudden I open up my phone 10 minutes later and have 12 ads for like, oh, you have a pollen allergy and you got to buy these anti-pollen allergy pills or you're going to suffocate in your sleep. Sleep is the only place I still feel kind of safe. But even there, it's like I could have sleep problems for one night and then I wake up feeling kind of groggy and all of a sudden I'm getting targeted ads for melatonin gummies. It's like all of our necessities are still expensive, and then also just every increment of our life costs something. This is why I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad.
Besides the fact that I'm extremely struggling to pay my rent every month, you know how I realize that it's really, really bad out here? I live in the hood, okay? I live in the hood. The hood. Garbage everywhere. People's dogs not tied up. Pit bulls running around. Litter, dog poop. People riding bikes. Women of the night down the block. Like, I've been living here for a year and a half. And when I first moved in, it was 100% black. Like, 100% black people. And now, I was just walking my dog and this white guy was like, to me, dead ass. Now, all of a sudden, I've seen at least 4 of the apartments taken by white people. And this is like the cheapest spot in town. Also, some Hispanics have moved in as well. Like, when I first moved in here, there was a white girl that lived here. But I feel like when I realized everything changed, when I seen white men moving in here, I was like, oh shit, it's bad out there. It's bad. And I'm actually scared, guys, for my lease being up in January. I'm very scared. I'm very scared for what's gonna happen. That being said, please help me get to 10K. Oh my God, I gotta get out the hood. Please, please, please. I'm not gonna be able to afford the hood. They've already raised my rent. They tried to raise it $125. I talked them down to $75. They're definitely gonna raise it again at that. And this is for the hood. No supermarkets, no restaurants, nothing. Like, I don't know, we're just sitting on here on social media talking about it, but it's like, what do we actually do? What are we actually doing? The election is in November and they haven't even talked about the election. They're not even like trying to get people to, come out and vote and be on our side, because I feel like they know what it is. They're going to wait till the last minute to be like, all right, well, you have to pick somebody. You got to vote for Biden, since you don't want Trump. Like, no, we can't do that. We cannot do that. I know it's a little bit all over the place, this video, but it's bad out here, dude. Rent is really bad. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm very scared. I don't want to live in my car. Not with 2 dogs.
Well, guys, experts are saying America is right around the corner from almost being a third world country. They're saying major crash for U.S. economy has begun. Experts say they're saying that The American dollar is about to be valued to zero. And Bitcoin, they're doing a meeting now, whereas they're trying to see if they're going to do digital or if they're going to let the bricks take over. So America right now is in the deep mud. They say the economy is in the dirt. The dirt is sinking down like quicksand. They said you can't raise the debt now one more time. They said it's over, it's done. They said we going down. This getting really scary, but they said if you got a little bit of money, go ahead, invest in gold and start putting your money in Bitcoin. Because they saying it's right around the corner. The storm is coming to America as far as the finances. So it's your boy bringing you up to par.
One thing I'll say, about 4 or 5 years ago, I used to tell my clients that you need to earn at least $65,000 a year to qualify for a nice townhome. And then before the pandemic, I told them you had to make about 70. And then now I'm telling people you got to make around $85,000 a year. And I'm probably going to end up telling them in another year that you need to make about $100,000 a year. And I'll tell you that also the majority of clients that I come across that are making a significant amount of money or not have car payments that are $600-$700 a month. They're driving BMWs and Mercedes, and sometimes it's not even those kind of cars. They're just getting a really bad deal from a car dealership and getting these really high car payments. And then they have the most luxurious bags. They're living in the most expensive apartments sometimes. And obviously rent is high too. That's a whole nother topic. But some people are even having children and then more children and then more children, even though they don't have a home that they can say was purchased by them. They're renting. So I think a lot of times our first issue is financial responsibility. And I'm not here to say that inflation is not an issue. We've only had a couple times in the last 60 years where we've had deflation, which is back in 2009 after the crash, and 2015 for something else. But it was very temporary. It wasn't long lasting. We've been experiencing inflation for a very long time. So everyone should be of the understanding that if you're earning $200,000 today per year, in the next couple of years or so, it's not going to have the same buying power as it did before. And if we can come to that conclusion, if we can come to that understanding, we can all come to the realistic standpoint of, I need to do something different, right? I need to not buy this car right now. I need to secure my home first. I need to start to invest in things that are going to give me some return on my money. I need to not necessarily go to the school and get a degree that's going to cost me thousands of dollars if I'm not going to really go ahead and work in that field. And I'm not saying that people don't have circumstances that prevent them from fulfilling their goals, because not all of us chose to have children early. Not all of us thought that our degrees are going to be useless. Not all of us thought that we would be priced out of the market with real estate. But there are some of us that have the option to do better, and we're not. We're traveling all over the place. We're doing all these other things that do not bring us to our end goal. And here we are.
Neo-feudalism. This is not capitalism. We live in neo-feudalism. This is not capitalism. This is where you have a underclass, right? A lumpen proletariat almost that's taken care of by the state. You have the very wealthy, and you have this kind of neo-feudalist working class and middle class in the middle that pays for everything. And the guys at the top, we've socialized the risk, that $1 trillion of infusion, right? Remember, the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve on the morning of September 18th, 2008, when they're in the Oval Office talking, is $880 billion. The balance sheet of the Federal Reserve on January 17th or January 20th of 2017, when Donald Trump raises his hand, is $4.5 trillion. the most progressive president in the history of our country, President Obama, saved the wealthy. And here's how they did it. They just turned on the taps of liquidity. We call it, the technical term is quantitative easing.
Right.
The not technical term is called bailing out the people who are guilty. Okay?
So
essentially, if you owned anything, you had the greatest 10-year run in history.
Wait.
Yep.
Let's move to the TARP vote and whether you think, so now all of that is happening. It's
You have to do TARP, the first one you have to do.
Yeah.
You know why? Your fiduciary, when a guy like Bernanke walks in and says, I need $1 trillion, right? You don't have time to debate. History's going to look at you. And he says, the American financial system is going to collapse in 72 hours and the world financial system 2 days after that. You have global anarchy. There's not a person on earth. I don't hear these libertarians and all these, free market, let capitalism take place. Right. No. When they come in and ask for the first trillion in an emergency, I believe you have to say, okay, we got to do it. I don't know what went on here, but if you're telling me this is going to save me and at least get down the road, I'll do it. But remember, that's the first trillion. We kept on for another $3.5 trillion. $3.5 trillion. This is just bailing out the people that caused the problems. Got to think about it for a second. Goldman Sachs didn't lose any equity. None of the partners really missed any bonus payments. None of GE still in business. AIG, it all still exists. All the donors. Okay, the reverse side of this, remember, there is a corollary to this. It's quite powerful. And we know from the notes of the Federal Reserve, a guy named Richard Fisher, the president of the Federal Reserve of Dallas, argued this in the room constantly. He said, by doing this quantitative easing, which you're just flooding the zone with liquidity, we will save the institutions. And we will save anybody that's a big real estate holder or a hedge fund or bank. But he said, there's a huge reverse here. Number one, savings accounts, you're going to go to zero interest rates. Savings accounts are going to go to zero. So 5,000 years of the Western tradition back to the Marty Bannons, which is be a good householder. Get a wife, get a mortgage, get some kids, and you save your money. Well, now if you save money, you're a sucker. Because it's broken the trust. That's the trust is broken. If you save money, you're a jerk because you're not going to get any interest payment. In fact, the bank's going to charge you. So there's been you can't put money away to save into the system. Number two, the pension funds. The pension funds are going to be destroyed. Today we have a $9.5 trillion gap between the obligations of the pension funds and what we've earned off the pension funds. Why? Because it went to zero interest rates and the bonds that they can buy have no juice in them. Right? The other thing is public schools and all this. Even communities that are not leveraged can't issue bonds because there's no juice in the bonds because the negative interest rate is 1.5%. We've essentially put the burden on the bailout on the working class and middle class. That's why nobody owns anything.
Right. But
the millennials today are nothing but 19th century Russian serfs. They're better fed. They're better clothed. They're in better shape. They have more information than anybody in the world at any point in time. But they don't own anything. They're not going to own anything, okay? And they're 20%. If you mark in time against their parents, they're 20% behind in their income, and there's no pension plan in the future. They're all gig economy. We've literally destroyed the middle class in this country.
Okay.
And both political parties. By the way, this is not about Republicans and Democrats.
Right.
This is the way the system works, and this is the way the system comes together to protect itself and to move itself forward. Okay. And so because nobody understands even the rudimentaries of finance, right? And they keep the public kind of economically illiterate.